Hi, I'm Tasha. Welcome to my Unbiased Report on MSG. Monosodium glutamate was found in 1908 by a Japanese chemist who was just eating some soup one day and noticed that the seaweed in it made it taste a little bit different. He discovered umami. Umami is the fifth taste receptor that has been found, and it can actually detect sweet, salty, and savory and indulgent flavors. Alright, so here is our acidic glutamate compound. We sprinkle on a basic solution of sodium, oxygen, and hydrogen, and we are left with a salt bond reaction where we can go ahead and throw the H2O in the trash. At which point we are left with monosodium glutamate. The resulting compound is 2 carbon, 10 hydrogen, 1 nitrogen, 1 sodium, and 5 oxygen. Alright, but that Japanese chemist decided to scrape the insides of the plants and find that little cell that was making it taste different. And he was able to get some out, scooped it into a jar, and started selling it as what he called essence of taste. Now, this essence of taste quickly spread throughout Asian cultures and all over the world, honestly. It was a staple to use in any kitchen. There's been research over the years that suggests that MSG is linked to some serious side effects and that some people might be extremely sensitive to it. Some of these side effects include irregular heartbeats, asthma, numbness in limbs, and the list goes on.
MSG.
I began to collapse.
The pain was just unbearable.
Turns on this headache mechanism and makes you hurt.
Migraines, throat swelling, diarrhea, vomiting, irregular heart.
So now we know how MSG is made, which taste receptors that it plays with, and we have also learned that it can cause some people to have some serious side effects. One question I find myself pondering is whether or not the MSG releases dopamine into our brain.
There is one problem with all these studies. Every organism reacts differently. It is usually well protected, and glutamate can't reach it. But this barrier can become porous if confronted by large doses of glutamate. This may also happen to patients with Alzheimer's, Parkinson's, or after a stroke. In such cases, glutamate can make their conditions worse. Too much MSG could throw off the natural balance, because there are already large amounts of glutamate in everyone's brain, as a neurotransmitter connecting the cell's activities. So, that's what it is.
Alright, so now we know glutamate is a neurotransmitter. Alright, so neurotransmitters are actually really cool. They're like that little layer in our brain that holds the two cells together, that sends the cell signals, tells our cells what to do. So like me moving my hands right now, my neurotransmitters are telling my hands to move. So that's really cool. It's also really interesting that too much glutamate can make our brain actually have less of a protection barrier around it. However, my question about whether or not it releases dopamine in the brain still isn't answered. So I guess we still got to figure that out.
Mommy.
That 6 flavor. That special thing that everybody's reaching for now.
Right.
Chefs are going crazy over this. They're going back to using MSG because of it.
Right. So I think probably in this audience, most people are familiar with umami. It's the fifth receptor that's on the tongue. It is activated by glutamate and a couple of other amino acids. A chef, you can realize that umami taste plays well with other things. For my part, if I want to leave you all with one idea tonight about sensation, it's this. There is no pure sensation. You can't experience the external world in a purely veridical, logical way. Your sensory system is not designed to give you the most accurate representation of the external world. It is designed to give you what, through millions of years of evolution, it thinks you most need to survive. By the time you have any sensation from the external world, it is going to be combined with your life experience, as you spoke of, your culture, and it will evoke emotion. So there is no sensation without emotion. And this is true for the sensations evoked by food, and it's true for the sensations evoked by everything. I think there isn't pure emotion. I'm saying there's no pure sensation.
Pure sensation. Well, even sensation.
Right. I think that that any time you have a sensation, you have emotion that goes along with it.
Okay.
And when you don't have that emotion, things feel really odd. Let me give you an example. When you're really hungry and you eat a bite of food that you find delicious, oh boy, that first bite tastes great, right? And then you keep eating, and you eat another bite, another bite, another bite, and maybe the last bite you take before you stop isn't nearly as good as that first bite, but it's okay, and then you stop. If we have someone in the brain scanner at that very moment, and we are looking at their pleasure circuitry, the activation of the pleasure circuitry completely tracks with the subjective experience, in the sense that the very first bite produces a big activation of the pleasure circuit, and the bite in the middle, a smaller one, and the very last bite before you stop, a smaller one yet.
In summary of what we know about MSG so far, we know it's created by acid-base reactions. We know we can find it in tomatoes and mushrooms, meats, aged cheeses. It was found in 1908 by a Japanese chemist. We know glutamate is a neurotransmitter. And we've learned that sensations like smell, touch, taste, sight, and sound are not emotionless experiences. I thought doing this report would clear everything up for me, but it seems that I'm left with more questions than answers.